Let us now begin the second seminar titled R&D Strategies of Eureka Countries. The first presentation will be delivered by Innovate UK from the United Kingdom.
Hello there, my name is David Cameron-Malloy. I am the Asia Partnership Manager for Innovate UK. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I would like to thank our Korean hosts for both organising this Eureka Day and also for inviting me to speak. A couple of things that I'm going to cover with you today. One is just a brief overview of Innovate UK itself, our historic participation with South Korea in terms of innovation collaboration through the Eureka platform, and also some areas of future priorities between the UK and South Korea. So first of all, just a quick overview of Innovate UK itself. We are the UK's innovation agency. We invest in new ideas, technologies, connect businesses to the right people to drive economic growth and social benefits. We have a real business focus, and our focus is around sort of supporting and investing in business R&D activity. Innovation is the key to the UK's future growth and prosperity. It is the bedrock by which we will drive productivity, exports, economic growth by accelerating the development of products, processes, services and business models that's based on new ideas and technologies. And as our Secretary of State for Business, Energy, Industrial Strategy, Right Honourable Alok Sharma MP, stated in July 2020, particularly in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, this has shown us the vital importance of science innovation and international collaboration across geographical borders. So, key elements of the UK innovation landscape. We have a strong innovation system. We have world-leading universities, research organisations and networks. We've got a range of innovative businesses and a long history of innovation in the UK. A range of public sector support is available both nationally and locally. We have a strong private investment community, particularly business angels. We have incubator and accelerator space and communities of startups. And increasingly having a focus on helping businesses to scale up, which fits with the UK industrial strategy. This commits the UK to increasing its spend as a percentage of GDP on R&D from the current rate of around 1.7% to 2.4%. So there's a real focus on investing in R&D in the UK as a kind of a key driver of that industrial strategy. In terms of our portfolio of support that we offer across Innovate UK, slide shows it there. We've got a range of support which I won't go into all of these, but which cuts across sort of funding and finance through grants for companies or collaborations between businesses and research organisations. We've got a strong innovation and growth advisory service through Innovation and Growth Advisors. We've got our Catapult network, and I will touch upon that very briefly in the subsequent slide. Knowledge transfer talent. So we've got knowledge transfer partnerships and also kind of a strong focus on equality and diversity. And then we also have a global support offer, which again I will touch on in more detail later on in the presentation. In terms of our Catapult network, we've got a strong Catapult network in the UK, and really since the early 2010s we've invested in this heavily, acting as a real bridge between sort of filling the gap between businesses, academia, research and government. So Innovate UK provides a third of the funding for our Catapult network, which you can see on the map of the UK there, spread across different areas of the UK, focused on different sectors. So we have medicine discovery, offshore renewable energy, high value manufacturing, connected places, cell and gene therapy, satellite applications, compound semiconductor applications, and energy systems. And really these are there to act as a real focus on commercialization of ideas from conception through to something that is focused on ready for market applications. And also we have a focus on, if I think about sort of high value manufacturing as an example, where we have real focus on supporting companies within that industry to tackle real problems and efficiencies through kind of fostering of new ideas. So there's a real emphasis in terms of the Catapult network in the UK. In terms of Eureka, we have been a long-standing supporter and participant in the Eureka network. It gives us a real multilateral platform for kind of a program of support for innovative UK companies to go global. It allows UK companies to have an aspiration to go global, to support with their growth, solving global challenges and partnerships with other countries. Briefly, what is Eureka? So it was established in 1985 to support cross-border business-led R&D and innovation. It is a trusted framework that facilitates bilateral and multilateral collaboration. It involves 44 countries with the potential to expand and to work with other countries, including South Korea. And it supports the globalization of businesses with innovative ideas. And just in terms of the global reach of the Eureka network, the map there demonstrates sort of all of those participating members, and it really does give us a good platform in which to facilitate international collaborative R&D activity in terms of UK companies. So we are a big supporter of it. In terms of different Eureka instruments, we've got there's a range of different instruments there. So we've got ranging from Eureka network projects, which are very much sort of bottom bilateral, multilateral projects between any countries in the Eureka network. Eureka Eurostars that enable collaborative projects twice a year in any area with projects that are led by SMEs. Eureka clusters, which are industry-driven public-private partnerships. And Eureka Global Stars, which enable collaborative projects between any country that is in the Eureka network and countries that are outside the Eureka network in any area. In terms of the impact of Eureka, the slide here is a really good example of what that has helped to achieve since its founding in 1985. So more than 38 billion euros have been invested, supported over 6,400 projects that have been launched. And you can see at the bottom left of the slide there in terms of the different participants that have been involved in those projects, ranging from SMEs, universities, research centres to large companies. And in terms of the impact, there's a real evidence base to suggest that it has sort of strengthened the commercial position of participating companies. So 69% of companies feel it has helped them to enter new markets, 68% improved market share, 67% has helped them to increase their exports, and so on in terms of increasing research staff, etc. So really positive evidence base in terms of the outcomes that Eureka has helped participating companies to achieve. In terms of the UK-South Korea collaboration, we have had a long-standing relationship in terms of innovative collaborative R&D with South Korea, and We've had our most recent call closed earlier this year in 2020, so I'll just spend the next sort of couple of minutes just drawing out some of the key highlights of that. So this competition was focused on addressing advanced materials to improve products and processes. Specific themes included semiconductors, secondary batteries and sensor technology, including energy storage, carbon and industry and chemistry, including lightweight materials, composites, plastics, recycling and nanomaterials, and machinery, robots and metals. So that was very much the scope of the call from the outset. Projects are to last up to 3 years and they must start by 1st of February 2021. And as with a lot of Eureka calls, it has enabled a number of participating countries to be involved in that call. So alongside the UK and South Korea, we've got a range of countries that are participating in that, and they are kind of listed on the slide there for your benefit. In terms of the sort of highlights of that call, so we received 53 projects in total. 24 of those 53 involved UK applications, so we had a really strong response from UK companies to this call. And of those 24, we have had our own national assessments, our independent national assessments of those proposals, and 7 of those are fundable UK projects across all countries following assessments. So once all countries have done their assessments, there is a collection of projects that are funded, that are fundable across all participating members. So 7 of those are fundable in terms of UK projects. And of those 7, 4 are specifically involving UK-South Korea collaboration that cover a range of sectors such as hydrogen, materials, medical devices, robotics, electric vehicles. And we are in the final stages of agreeing those funding proposals. Funding decisions will be made by December 2020, so later on this year. And then in terms of future priorities, in terms of the earlier slide I mentioned about our global toolkit, and this slide just demonstrates what that sort of entails in totality. So we have our global scoping workshops, which bring together kind of work in a workshop format, UK businesses, research organisations, other stakeholders, to help identify countries that are offering the best prospects for partnership and collaboration with the UK. And the outputs of these workshops help to narrow down where global expert missions could be used to scope opportunities in more detail. So our global expert missions, these are groups of 6 to 8 experts that we take out to a country to really have a deep dive into investigating further whether there is real potential as far as UK international collaboration is concerned. If we come back with a positive response to those global expert missions, then we will often follow that up with a global business innovation program mission, which is a cohort of around 15 innovative high growth businesses that we will take back out to the market to really help them to foster collaborative R&D, innovation focused partnerships. And this is something that we have done historically with South Korea, so that we did take a mission out, a GBIT mission out previously to South Korea focused on advanced materials, amongst a range of other sectors. Our global incubation program is with a cohort of countries that's focused on sort of innovative high growth businesses that are building long-term relationships and foundations for future market growth. And then we've got our bilateral and multilateral R&D funding programs, of which Eureka forms part of this. So collaborative grant funding programs to support projects up to 36 months in specific technology and sector areas. And this is where the Eureka call in terms of advanced materials involved in South Korea fits into this. And encouragingly for us, a number of UK companies that form part of our Global Business Innovation Programme mission to South Korea, subsequently applied into that call, and we received high quality proposals from those, and we are hopeful that some of those projects will be fundable and taken forward in terms of to support those innovative proposals with South Korean companies alongside other Eureka participating members. In terms of our sort of future areas of R&D collaboration with South Korea, so we recently held our ministerial joint committee meetings between the UK government and South Korean ministry counterparts to focus on what will be the future areas of focus, and I think that there was three clear themes that have come out from those, and we'll be taking these forward as part of our future discussions. So real focus around sort of clean energy, healthcare, including digital health, and we do have a GBIP mission planned for South Korea in terms of digital health that we are working on in a virtual format at this moment in time, but very much with the intention that when we are able to travel, that forms a physical visit. And sort of included within that is real interest in the area of sort of artificial intelligence. So that's it for me. As I want to say, a real pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you to our Korean hosts, and we will be taking forward those conversations with our Korean counterparts in terms of those areas and the subsequent funding programs that we hope will come to fruition as a result of those conversations. Thank you.
The next presentation will be delivered by the Center for the Development of Industrial Technology of Spain.
Good morning, good evening, everybody. My name is Oscar Fernandez Moyano, and I work for CDTI, the Spanish Innovation Agency. So first of all, I hope you all are healthy and safe at home, at your office, in these difficult times we are having in the last months. And second, thank you for having the opportunity to explain a little bit about the things that we do in Spain. We're talking about R&D. So thanks for your virtual presence there. And thank you especially to Kiat and the rest of the Korean organizers and the people supporting this great event, this Korea유레카데이, which is, I would say, a reference every year when talking about the promotion of Eureka and really having the spirit of globalization within this network. So, as you can see in the slides, I will try to show you why you should contact or make things with Spanish participants. What are the main features of the support that we have in Spain here? What type of entities you can find if you want to do something in Spain in order to develop a product, process, or a service using technology. So first, let me explain a little bit about Spain, and we'll go later into the details of my organization, CDTI. But let me talk to you about our country. Probably most of you will know Spain very well. Some of you even visited us, and hope you enjoyed the experience. I'm sure you can think of Spain when having a good time. We have good weather, and we really like to enjoy life in general. It's our culture, and we don't hesitate to take the best of it every time we can do it. But it's not the only things we do in Spain, and I will give you some examples when talking not only about leisure, but also about work, because in Spain we really are good in a lot of different fields. I'm going to show you some examples. It's not the only ones, but just for you to know a little bit about what we are doing here in Spain. And you can see that there are several fields where we have top performing companies, industries, academia, different entities, where we are really in the best position when talking about competitiveness, when talking about market, businesses, etc., etc., etc. One of them has to do with the renewable energies, but also with the oil. When we talk about wind and solar power, we have a lot of capacity. Our infrastructures are really high quality, and also we have big companies in the top positions in the oil sector. Also, when we talk about transport and civil works, we have a lot of projects, some of them involving R&D, where these sectors are present. If we talk about transport, probably high-speed trains will be the best example, and all the different contracts that we won in the past to make some of the infrastructures for transport all around the world. Of course, water treatment and things dealing with sustainability, climate change, and all the things are another of the sector where you can find good companies in Spain doing things at international level for the desalination and some other issues dealing with water. And not to forget communication, including artificial intelligence, which is one of the most important topics nowadays. We have companies doing things at international level in a lot of different countries, in the top positions. So we have there also a lot of SMEs, as well as in the rest of the sectors, doing R&D to have the possibility to be there in Spain. And we can even think of some links with my first slide. Biotech and agri-food are also sectors very important in Spain, and where we have also very relevant presence all around the world. Our companies are quite international, doing good projects not only in Spain but abroad. And just as one of another examples, we can talk, of course, about the robotics, manufacturing, things dealing with Industry 4.0. All these technologies involved have a Spanish presence, and we can say also that we are in the leading position when talking about all these sectors and subsectors. So these were some of the examples I wanted to show to you, and I just want to also show you some other issues where Spain is well ranked in terms of scientific production. Of course, there is a reference when comparing with European countries, which is the framework program. We are very active, and as you can see, we receive a lot of money because the proposals we submit to Brussels are good enough to win several of the funding programs where we are participating in. Of course, you can find a lot of Spanish companies involved in those programs in most of the sectors I just presented. But also in some others. And last but not least, also dealing with science, we also have really good scientific infrastructures in Spain, as another example of the capacity of the Spanish entities to do R&D. So as you can imagine, we are talking about all this stuff, and part of the success is due to the use of R&D and innovation in all these sectors. And I'm sure that you will know that this is thanks to the private industry and the rest of stakeholders, but also the public sector has to play a role there. And the last activity that I would like to highlight, and I'm not going to go into the details, but I just want to show you that we are continuously doing things, is the strategy that we have just approved for the next 7, 8 years, which is a strategy that is really aligned what is doing at European level also. So there are several axes, there are several activities, fields of actions, and as you can imagine, enhancing the competitiveness of our industry is one of that. And as you can imagine, one of the players in this game will be our office, our agency, CDTI, as the National Innovation Agency. So I just would like to, before this, after this introduction, I just want to talk a little bit about CDTI as the implementing body of part of the strategy. I would say the one that has to deal with the industry. And the first thing I want to highlight is that we are quite stable entity. We belong to the Ministry of Science and Innovation today. So they are the ones that are responsible for R&D in Spain. And we basically are providing the industry with funding support for R&D projects. The idea for us is pretty simple. We just want to hear the demands of the industry, of our industry, no matter if these are domestics or international. And we try to support them mainly with funding tools. So our activity is devoted to manage those funding tools, but also we have some activity representing Spain's interest in different programs, and some are international, and one of them is Eureka. For us, Eureka is a reference, and we are also quite active, as I will show you a little bit later after my presentation. So what we do in CDTI is just to try to improve the capabilities of the industry by supporting R&D projects, which, by the way, fits very well in the spirit of Eureka, which is pretty similar, but in an international dimension. So we are, I would say, the natural partner for Eureka in our country, and that's why we are there since a long time. And I'm not going to explain about the several instruments we have in Eureka, because you will probably have already heard about that. There are presentations regarding all the different programs that we have. But the message here is that we are really active in all of them. We feel that we have to try to promote all the opportunities to our industry and let them really show that they really are interested. And it looks like is that they are interested because we have quite a number of network projects every year. We are very active with Eurostars and also with the more strategic or the communities of technologies, which means the cluster projects. The last to be there were the global stars calls, and also for us these are a key element because it allows us to implement part of our international strategy, which is also implemented by having bilateral programs, but having these within Eureka feels more comfortable in terms of the management of these bilateral relationships. So we are really there. We always have a lot of projects. So if you want to do things with the Spanish company, they will probably be used to do things within Eureka. So they will not probably have a lot of problems while understanding how to do things, what are the procedures, etc., etc., etc. And of course, we are at CDTI. We are the Spanish agency for Eureka. It means that we are supporting our companies, and I usually refer to companies because funding is aimed at these type of entities. But we support all the different entities by not only promoting Eureka, but also giving advisory services to all the potential participants in Eureka projects. We help them to prepare the documents. We just tell them if the projects are really fitting well into the different Eureka tools, or maybe they have to try to go to another instruments. We study case by case what can we do to support the companies or the participants in the projects. And then we do the evaluation of the projects, of course, and the monitoring of the projects. And also we keep with the promotion and the visibility to those labeled or successful projects at national level and supporting the promotion at international level. So we do several things when talking of CDTI as Eureka Office, but one of the main ones are the funding of the Spanish entities, which, as I told you, it's devoted to companies mainly. Other entities, they have to be subcontracted or they have to self-fund. But let's go for the most useful or the most common one, which is the support to the companies. So we have several tools in Spain at CDTI, but we have one main tool that we use for the Eureka projects. And when I talk about Eureka, I mean the Eureka calls, the global store calls, and the cluster calls. So for Eurostar, we have another one, and I will show you later. But for all these different calls, our tool has the features that you can see there. It's a mix between a loan and a grant, basically, and we can reach up to the 85%. No interest fee, and they have to pay back in 7 or 10 years. This is decided by the company, and because it is an Eureka project, they don't have to pay back the whole amount of the credit that we provide. So that is why it's a mix between a grant and a loan. They 1/3 of the amount we provide to the companies, they don't have to pay back. So it's as I say, some kind of a grant. Positive things for this instrument is that it's an open call, so they can apply whenever they want, which also fits very well with the way of doing things in Eureka. And also we have some extra features, which is that we pay in advance part of the credit. If needed, we can pay even more. And in case we need to have some guarantees, they have been removed. We don't ask for guarantees if the financial situation is not very good, let's say, in a way to try to incorporate more and more companies into this system. Also, a very positive message from our side is that there is not a limit in terms of the funding support. We can fund all the good projects, all the projects that are accomplishing the criteria of Eureka and also the domestic criteria we have at CDTI. So if you really have a good projects, there will be no problem from our side to support the Spanish company. It will depend on the willing of the Spanish company to go ahead and accept the funding conditions we provide in Spain. Which now it's easier for them because, as I said, as there is no need to provide guarantees, this makes things easier for the Spanish company. So this was the funding provided for these 3 instruments. For Eurostar project, we have a completely different tool based on grants, also only for companies. And as you can see, on average, we provide half of the budget. In Spain, it's very successful program, Eurostars, because as you can imagine, we have grants. Well, the trend or the main tool is this credit and loan mix. So having one call where all the support is grant makes more attractive for Spanish companies, SMEs especially. Also we can fund all type of companies, and we have a lot of proposals every year. We are also in the top positions in terms of proposals and also in terms of leading those proposals. So we are very active, not only in the first tools, but also in Eurostars. So this is more or less the activity we have in Spain. The message from this is that we are very active, and we are trying to spread the news as soon as possible when they arise. And as an example, as we are in the Korea Day, I just wanted to show you that we are completely in line in this activity when talking about the bilateral cooperation with Korea. We have several programs with them. It's not only Eureka, but referring only to Eureka, We have quite a number of proposals. 7 projects. It's a lot when talking about an R&D. And you can see there what are the different sectors, the most common ones. It means that if there is a proposal from another sectors, we are not going to discard. We are going to support also. But here you can see the most common ones, and we want to have more. Of course, our companies, they feel very comfortable when doing R&D with Korean entities. We know it's also very high quality companies, entities, and there are very good examples that we have in Spain, in Eureka. When talking about this project, there are 2 projects lately supported. One is dealing with cooling systems, and it's between Spanish company and LG in Korea, which is a complete reference worldwide. So you can see that we can do projects with very good big companies, but also with other entities. We have another project which is, I think it was scored 100 out of 100 points in Kiat with E3 as one of the partners, and it's linked to 5G and 6G. So we have a lot of different examples. You can also check it in the Eureka website, where Spanish participants are really having good proposals and are really having a good success story out of them. So, nothing else from my side. Just to remark the main messages. First of all, as I hope you have seen in the presentation, in Spain we have a lot of potential. We have a very good base, a very good list of companies, top performers, including SMEs, including tech centers, including universities, where you can find good partners for your potential ideas. We are very used to work in international dimension, as most of the people, but also we are very used to work in Eureka. We have a lot of experience there, and we have been very active. So if you have an idea, please do not hesitate to contact Kiat if you want to do it first through your national contact point in Eureka, or you can even contact us directly. We have a template to look for partners, so just fill in the template, give to us, and we will spread the proposal through our network of contacts. We, as you can imagine, we are in contact with all the sectors at CDTI since 40 years ago or more, so we can really attack the different sectors when talking about new ideas, and just open to you the door to access all these companies and other entities in this sector. So do not hesitate. Use this Korea Day. It's a great opportunity. Use the bilateral meetings to meet Spanish or other entities from other countries, and we will be there if you need support. We will be there to provide funds to the Spanish company, and we will be there through the lifetime of your project and beyond, because we have the same aim as you. We just want to support good projects. We just want to make you feel that you can reach more markets thanks to this cooperation at international level. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much again for your patience, for your attention, and thank you very much for the opportunity to show that Spain is a very good candidate for potential Eureka projects. Hope to see you soon in the next Korea Day, physically, of course. See you and bye-bye. Thank you very much.
The next presentation will be delivered by the Austrian Research Promotion Agency of Austria.
Welcome from Austria, and thank you for inviting me to the Korea-Eureka-Days 2020. As you know, Eureka is a leading platform for international cooperation. It is an intergovernmental network to support market-oriented R&D projects and to facilitate access to finance. In Austria, we actively support all Eureka instruments, including cluster projects, network projects, Eurostars projects, and Global Stars projects. Let me now introduce you to the Eureka project framework in Austria. The process for submitting Eureka network projects in Austria is that you first contact the national contact point in Austria, which is the Austrian Research Promotion Agency. Afterwards, you submit the international proposal in the Eureka project portal. The second step is that you also submit the national application in Austria at the Austrian Research Promotion Agency. Afterwards, all involved parties come together, the national funding bodies of all involved countries, and determine the quality of the proposal and the availability of funding. If your evaluation is positive and the consortium agreement is signed, you can receive the Eureka label. After receiving the label, you can start the projects and funds can be transferred. In Austria, we consider certain national priorities and eligibility criteria. Our national priorities are to strengthen Austria as a location for research and innovation and to drive economic, technological, and social development. We consider two eligibility criteria for R&D projects. The first is the technical funding criteria, which includes in particular the degree of innovation and the technical challenge of the planned project. The second criteria is the economic assessment, which focuses on the commercialization potential and the applicant's economic performance. We target with these measures small and medium enterprises, large enterprises, startups, and to some degree, universities and research organizations. The funding outlook in Austria is quite positive. We support Eureka with different national programs. In special cases, we recommend themed programs. More information is available directly through our consulting services. In the general case, we suggest to apply nationally at a program called Basisprogramme, which is the general funding program. In Basisprogramme, the support for small and medium enterprises is up to 60% of eligible costs in grants for small enterprises and up to 50% for medium-sized companies. Large companies can receive grants of up to 40% of eligible costs in Eureka network projects and mixed funding of up to 50% of eligible costs for Eureka cluster projects. Universities and research organizations may be subcontracted in Basisprogramme. So general programs or Basisprogramme aims to support experimental development, which is the promotion of the development of products, processes, or services. In general programs, you have to submit a single firm R&D project. It's a permanently open call. There is open budgets for projects of all sizes, and the projects are assessed in terms of the previously discussed technical and economic aspects. So how should you present your R&D plans to the Austrian Research Promotion Agency? You should include a precise project description, task schedule, and cost projection. You should be very clear on your degree of innovation and the technical challenges addressed. You should include a cost-benefit calculation, project size, and achievement of objectives have to be realistic. You have to be clear on your commercialization potential and your economic performance. And you should describe your cooperation possibilities. In addition to this national program, we also support the Eureka projects in the setup phase. We have a national program called Project Start that supports companies in the process of setting up a Eureka project. So this funding program can be used if you are in this phase where you define the projects, the aims of a project, if you still assess the state of the art and literature, and if you execute market and competitor analysis. The funding available is up to 10,000 euros in this stage of the project. Now, finally, I would like to give you some more information about the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, the FFG. The FFG is co-owned by the federal ministries from the Republic of Austria for climate action, environment, energy, mobility, innovation and technology. This is the first ministry, and the second ministry is for digital and economic affairs. All partners from Austria in a Eureka project have to contact the FFG. The contacts you can find on this slide are myself and the team responsible for Eureka, and you can also find the contact information for the team responsible for Basisprogramme or general funding. Thank you very much. My name is Michael Walch.
The next presentation will be delivered by Enterprise Estonia by Estonia.
Hello, my name is Siim Kinnas, and I am here to talk to you about how you can enter one of the most lucrative markets in the world, the European Union, through one of its most entrepreneurship-minded countries, Estonia. We are an education nation, as evidenced by our school children's consistently high rankings at PISA tests. We are also a startup nation. We have the highest number per capita of startups in any country in Europe. And we are a very digital society. 99% of our public services are available online. Enterprise Estonia was founded in the year 2000, when different agencies were combined to promote trade, innovation, export, tourism, and foreign investments. We currently have about 260 people, all working to help Estonian companies create new and innovative products and export into new markets, including Asia. The mission of the Trade and Innovation Center of Enterprise Estonia is to raise Estonia's position among the most competitive business environments in the world. We do this by offering companies different kinds of services and support methods, like services for finding your new customers, finding your first subcontractor, developing a intellectual property strategy, and so on and so forth, up to and including how to export to a foreign market. With our services, we aim to raise the company's awareness of the opportunities available to them in the innovation-driven, high added value world, and also to give them the necessary knowledge and the tools to build those products, and the financial support to do so. We're also working with international companies to take advantage of Estonia's world-class education system, its R&D infrastructure, its innovation-friendly legal environment that is also very flexible, and the ICT expertise that permeates the whole Estonian society. To facilitate this, we also have a network of representatives that span the whole world from North America through Europe and Asia. To illustrate this, here are some of the most innovative companies that we have had the fortune to work with. One of the most brilliant examples of cooperation between Enterprise Estonia and the private sector is, for example, a company called Cleveron. They are developers of automated parcel storage and retrieval systems. Sounds simple, but they, among others, can count Walmart as one of their customers and now have reach all over the world. From developing their own workforce at Cleveron Academy to a wide-ranging horizontal intellectual property strategy, and with the help of Enterprise Estonia, the future is bright. Cybersecurity is the basis of the digital society. Each Estonian citizen has a digital identity that also acts as a private key to communicate securely with the government. And from those experiences, Estonian IT companies are building a slew of new products and services that they make available. For example, the founders of Cybexer built their own solution to visualize a digital battlefield for cyber defense training. It is built on their experience from the NATO Cyber Defense Center of Excellence in Tallinn. Cybexer make the invisible world of cyber attacks and defense visible and understandable and visualized. And the customers now include many high-profile organizations and countries. Whereas cybersecurity and automation are indeed very important, they all need the same resource to operate: energy. Hence, it is no surprise that there are several companies here in Estonia that work with the issue of green energy production and storage. For example, a company called Power Up Fuel Cells is producing portable fuel cell-based generators of energy, electric power and heat, to replace the ubiquitous petrol and diesel power generators. These can be used everywhere, from recreational use to military applications. And they're also working on chemistry to turn CO2 into a resource for material production. Based on decades of research and development, Elcogen have produced a solid oxide fuel cell stack technology. This allows for a modular construction of new fuel cells application. It boasts one of the highest efficiency rates of all fuel cells in the world and is built for low cost and mass production. This allows for their technology to become the foundation that other applications are built on, from commercial and residential heat and power production to long-range transportation, energy storage and power-to-fuel applications. All these developments rely heavily on the outputs of the Estonian education and research system. On the annual European Innovation Scoreboard, Estonia ranks among the strong innovators. This, at least partly, is due to the strong education system, the effective collaboration between Estonian companies, the international intense cooperation between our researchers, and the ingrained perceived importance of lifelong learning among Estonians. In education, we are leaning on our digital strengths, like, for example, the e-school. It is a national online platform that works as an e-diary, a learning environment, and report card for students. It's a communication channel between the parents and the school, and it is a source of valuable statistics for local and state government. With so many digital learning materials, the Estonian student's school bag is mostly in the cloud. EdTech companies such as eKool, Linguist, DreamApply, PlanBeat, Opic, and others actively contribute to the success of the Estonian education story. To share our best experiences with all of you, we have launched a global export brand promoting the Estonian education system, Education Nation, where we give anyone who is interested the overview of the principal components, including digital solutions, consulting, educational games, trainings, and more. All of this relies on the backbone that is the Estonian R&D system and its universities, with their open and vibrant entrepreneurial communities around them. The Estonian National University, University of Tartu, belongs in the top 1% of the most quoted universities in the world in at least 12 areas, ranging from computer sciences, biotechnology to social sciences. TalTech, its more application-oriented counterpart, has excellent research in the areas of innovation management, energy conservation, and building retrofitting. All in all, there are 6 public universities and many other R&D facilities in Estonia, all eager to work with companies. To that end, we at Enterprise Estonia offer companies support and consultations, ranging from how to find the right scientist or research crew, to how to negotiate their agreement, to IP regulations, and so on and so forth. Enterprise Estonia also offers financial support to companies who wish to cooperate with R&D facilities. From the €6,000 innovation voucher for testing and analysis services to the 3 million R&D grant, we have the whole spectrum covered for you. We also offer services for companies who wish to partake in international funding calls like the Horizon Europe or Eurostars. Thank you for your time. I hope you heard something of interest to you, and we hope to see you soon in Estonia, where something amazing is being built every day. Goodbye.
Next is a presentation by Business Finland from Finland.
Good morning or good afternoon to all of you. My name is Heikki Uusihonko, and I'm working with different international collaboration platforms at Business Finland. I also had the honor to chair the Eureka network during spring 2018, when a marvelous Korea-Yure카데이 was arranged here in Helsinki. So therefore, the event today, even if it only can be held in a virtual form, has a special significance for me, and I'm very happy to guide you all through our small video presentation. There are lots of similarities between Korea and Finland today, but still Finland is far away, maybe not that well known. So let's begin with a brief introduction to Finland and what is the role of innovation and technology for us. Isn't it like the future already is here? And indeed, Eureka collaboration is all about the future. Ever since the founding of Eureka, Finland has been an active participant in the collaboration for our shared future. What is our Eureka policy today? Let's next hear Mr. Tom Varras, our National Eureka Project Coordinator. Tom, please.
Thank you. Indeed, the National Project Coordinator for Eureka in Finland is in Business Finland. Business Finland is an organization under the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment. And this is a very important part of Business Finland's tasks, but we broadly help Finnish companies to grow and to go international. We have quite a significant budget, at least in the Finnish scale of a small country, close to 600 million euros annually for innovation funding. And this is quite broadly going to SMEs. SMEs have been in focus for us during the last years, and the growth of SMEs is our main concern. And we try to help them network nationally and especially internationally. When networking internationally, there is a very important concept called ecosystems, which is now the essential term to take into account. An ecosystem includes all types of actors which have a joint purpose of innovation. There are actually knowledge ecosystems or business ecosystems, but what we especially focus on are the innovation ecosystems where Finnish companies would have a good role. The engagement of large companies and of research organizations is important, but also the public sector can contribute greatly to the success of an ecosystem. When you are forming an ecosystem, it is essential that you have a core element of purpose. You have to have a joint purpose and joint targets for the ecosystem. And in doing that, you start with identifying key partners, with identifying people and the key projects which are essential for that joint purpose. This is really, I think, a good advice to Korea, to any nation, and also it's an invitation so that the ecosystems would be created together with other countries. And thinking of a high-tech country like Korea, indeed, this would be a good marriage, so to say, to join forces with companies cross-border. As an example, I would like to show you the ecosystem called 1C, which was formed already close to 5 years ago in Finland, with the objective of having an autonomous maritime system. This is an initiative which is an open ecosystem, and I would say that machine vision, auto-docking, autonomous ports, these kind of things are in the core of that ecosystem, and it will go on until the end of 25, having many partners as it is, and also piloting these things in Finnish waters. This was an example, but then I would like to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, because this is a very new sector. We have quite a strong environment for that in Finland, and we have Business Finland has an artificial intelligence program in order to accelerate artificial intelligence in Finland. And here the ecosystems are very important. Finland is here very strong, and the future things are already developed and done in our ecosystems. So these are interesting basis for collaboration between your country and Finland. The research areas are multiple. Any applying artificial intelligence in new domains are welcome. And the human-machine interface is especially important. What we offer the companies in Finland is funding to companies, to SMEs, startups, and bigger companies, and to research organizations. But we want them also to form ecosystems where they have relevant partners. Top partners from the world are invited to join our spearhead companies. And we, in our program, want to introduce international partnerships. And in the Eureka context, this is a very interesting sector. Eureka has had an artificial intelligence cluster call this year, and that is a good starting point to build ecosystems. Our budget for this specific program is 200 million euros for a period which ends in the end of 21. And that is good. Yeah. So greetings from Finland, from the Home Office, and let's start ecosystem collaborations.
The Republic of Korea is an important partner for Finland and the Finnish industries, but I'm sure there is a lot of good potential for more. So last but not least, let's hear what the head of Business Finland unit here in Seoul has to say on potential for increased collaboration. For my part, I already thank you for your attention.
안녕하세요. Welcome to our office in Seoul. My name is Suvi Sundqvist. I head our operations here in South Korea. Here we help Finnish and Korean companies find each other for good business. Trade between our two countries is good and growing, so wouldn't it be wonderful to have some more innovation activities together? So let's think about some good topics. We see potential in, for example, next generation communication technologies, 5G, 6G, satellite. Also, digital transformation of different industries is very important for us. So smart manufacturing, smart ships, smart ports, healthcare system, you name it. Finland is out to make the same digital leap that Korea is aiming at. So let's work together. Let's look at how to use advanced technologies like artificial intelligence and big data to create value for our industries. Also for us Finns, nature and environment is very close to our hearts. So we like to work on topics like circular economy and sustainability. So for example, how to ensure clean air and clean water for everyone. We also love to work on new bio-based materials to replace existing ones, for example, in packaging or textiles. And for example, industrial waste streams. We have learned that by working together, we can actually create value out of them. So there are a lot of good options. I hope you have ambitious and creative ideas. I hope you have a successful matchmaking event and find good partners. Our Eureka team, Tom, Heikki, and their colleagues in Helsinki will guide you through from the Finnish side. But also here in South Korea, I would love to meet you and learn more about your research. Because for us, this is not just about the next Eureka call. For us, this is a long-term relationship with South Korea. So be successful, good luck, enjoy, and hope to meet you. 감사합니다. Bye-bye.
Next is a presentation by the National Research Council of Canada.
Hello, my name is Wei Ning, an industrial technology advisor with the National Research Council Canada Industrial Research Assistance Program. And the following is a brief introduction about the organization and its programs. As Canada's largest federal research and development organization, the NRC is committed to advancing knowledge through science, supporting business innovation, and supporting Government of Canada's science agenda, including the Innovation and Skills Plan. Each year, our scientists, engineers, and business experts work closely with thousands of Canadian firms, helping them bring new technologies to market. We have the people, expertise, services, licensing opportunities, national facilities, and a global network to support Canadian businesses. We are well positioned both in Canada and abroad to create and maintain valuable linkages and networks to help transfer science and technology information to firms, universities, and public sector partners, and to generate new business opportunities for Canadian small and medium enterprises. We partner with the Canadian industry to take a research impact from the lab to the marketplace, where people can experience the benefits. This market-driven focus delivers innovation faster, enhances people's lives, and addresses some of the world's most pressing problems. The NRC has existed as a part of Canada's research and development landscape since 1916 and has produced breakthroughs and solutions that have impacted and improved the lives of Canadians. We are building on this legacy of discovery and pushing the boundaries of science and research to develop the next generation of solution and innovation. The NRC comprises 5 integrated R&D divisions, each guided by advisory bodies composed of industry leaders. Under these 5 R&D divisions, there are 14 integrated and consolidated research centers focused on key industry sectors. These research centers represent areas of strategic importance and economic value for Canada. Each research center hosts a variety of research programs which draw expertise from across the NRC and outside the NRC, such as from industry, government, and academia. NRC IRAP is a key component of the NRC and is one of the Government of Canada's primary mechanisms for providing innovation support to Canadian SMEs. NRC IRAP is designed to stimulate innovation in Canadian SMEs by helping them access, develop, exploit, and apply technologies to create new products, services, and industrial processes. IRAP has 250 industrial technology advisors located across Canada in 120 communities. The 255 industrial technology advisors provide technical and business advisory services, financial assistance, and link SMEs with local and international opportunities. IRAP assists Canadian SMEs with their R&D projects and provide funding to a small number of organizations that provide direct services to innovative SMEs. Youth program helps SMEs hire highly skilled post-secondary graduates. IRAP's Canadian International Innovation Program supports SMEs R&D collaboration with international partners in Brazil, China, India, Israel, and South Korea. Eureka and the Eurostar programs support SMEs R&D collaboration with partners in over 40 economies from the EU, Europe, Israel, and South Korea. IRAP's international network team are experts, advisors in identifying best fit international programs for Canadian SMEs. IRAP invests in building international relationships to connect our clients to global value chains. Through these relationships, we help our clients identify R&D and commercialization opportunities with world-class organizations across the globe. The reach of the IRAP network includes many regional, international, and national organizations, all of which play a role in strengthening the innovation support system in a way that benefits SMEs in Canada. IRAP's international initiatives are focused on providing support in a number of key areas, including direct support to SMEs with international interests, technology partnering, and joint R&D projects. We consider our mission accomplished when they become self-sustained, globally competitive businesses. Since joining Eureka in 2012, Canada has participated in 110 network projects with over 140 foreign partners. These are 3 Eureka network projects between Canadian and South Korean companies. Since 2012, Canada has participated in 28 cluster projects with 350 foreign partners. Canada joined as an associate member country in March 2016 and has already participated in 25 Eurostar projects with 58 foreign partners. The following are 2 Eureka success stories. Success story number 1, Aries Technology. Vancouver's Aries Technology is transforming art reproduction through 3D laser scanning and elevated printing, resulting in touchable 3D prints with precise colors and textured surfaces that capture the artist's original brush strokes. Even art curators find the textured reproductions nearly indistinguishable from the original masterpieces. Aries had already manufactured a made-in-Canada 3D optical scanner, but they needed follow-up engineering to further commercialize their products for the art reproduction market. The company was awarded a Eureka labeled project in 2015. This allowed them to engage in international collaboration with the Canon-owned OCE, who produced the 3D prints in the Netherlands, while manufacturers Larsen jewel frames and ships them from the United States. Aries recently completed a second Eureka project in 2017. For this project, Aries sped up its technology to scan printings in half the original time, and the Euro-Canadian partners innovated to reproduce the matte look of contemporary art. This opened more markets to the companies, which have since reproduced major works in Luxembourg and London. Success story number 2, ITEA 3 Norima Consulting. Winnipeg-based Norima Consulting is developing smart health innovations for the severely mobility impaired. Norima's products will make life easier for people with mobility challenges by integrating user-created and professional health data to improve care for populations with chronic and complex health conditions. Through the Eureka network, NORIMA is gaining market visibility as it collaborates with 19 different participants from 5 countries in the leading-edge ITS3 cluster projects. Project partners include large companies, SMEs, universities, hospitals, and research institutes. This international open innovative style R&D collaboration is focused on smart health innovations that will reduce healthcare costs and improve the quality of life of patients. These are only 2 of the many successful projects between the Canadian companies and their international counterparts. I hope this short presentation has provided you a useful overview on NRC and Arab's involvement and accomplishment with the Eureka and the Eurostar programs. Thank you.
Next is a presentation by Swiss Innovation Agency of Switzerland.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Colette John, and I've been invited to present InnoSwiss, the Swiss funding agency, to you this afternoon in this virtual format at the Korea-Eureka 2020. So, 69% of R&D spending comes from the private sector in Switzerland. So only around 1% of it is actually from InnoSwiss. So in that way, we're saying we are part of the Swiss spending on research and development. To confront the challenges that all countries are coming up against, we have a 5-year programme, and we're promoting innovation capacity of SMEs, especially, of course. We're trying to develop a competitive startup culture. We also are taking advantage of the opportunities of the digital transformation for companies in any area of research and promoting sustainable development. To do that, we have 4 main areas that we work in. We connect companies, parties interested in submitting projects, parties that already have had a project, companies that need building, with coaches and mentors. We scale, help start up, help bring ideas together in the startup culture, and companies that work with universities or with research institutes directly can submit innovation projects that are then funded through InnoSwiss. Go Global makes up a small part of this work. As you can see, Go Global makes up 7% of the total spending that we undertake within InnoSwiss. We're working at it. Here are the international programs that we work in. Eureka, of course. Eurostars, we're especially strong in. Then there are the thematic programs, AL, XL, and ERANET that we're in. These, of course, are coming to an end, but we hope to carry on with the new programs and maybe branch out into other areas. These are things that are under decision at the moment. We also have tried to build up our bilateral cooperation. We have had a call with Embreprix this year that has been successful. We have carried on with our KIAT call from the past years, and we've also been successful again. We're also successful in understanding and building understanding between the agencies, and in this way making the evaluation better and also bringing them sort of into line with each other. With Vinnova, we have a long-standing bilateral cooperation, which also is still underway this year. We have not had our actual event. And with Canada, we try to look for Swiss partners for Eurostars projects for Canadian companies. That was one of the small things that we did extra. Within the bilateral cooperation, this is one of the projects that we have with Kia, with South Korean partners. You can see that the research and the company side has to be represented on the Swiss side, but the same also applies in this case for the South Korean partner. Within the Eurostars example, we have a bigger consortium, and of course we have the main factor of an R&D intensive SME, actually in all countries, but especially here, we can see they are in the lead. We're looking forward to seeing what these projects bring and hope to have some success stories. To help us find partners, we have 7 EEN advisors in our department that works with us. So we try and pull them in when we have webinars, or we try and ask them to look for partners if you come to us and ask us. Sometimes we get these special requests. So we use our colleagues in the EEN department. Last year, we didn't do too badly. We had a success rate of 34%. And this is definitely something which is a good fact, and also makes it easier for people to participate because they know that they have a chance of getting money in one of the programs, and we're happy about that. As you know, we're not a very big team. Andreas is our boss. Yannick is my colleague who looks after the project office of Eurostars and also bilateral calls, and myself. And then we have 1 or 2 others who work within AAL and Excel. We realize that Kiat works within topical areas, which we are maybe not so strong as, because we work on the bottom-up approach. But we're happy to work with you in these areas if you specifically would like us to do so, especially for the coming bilateral call. We also hope in the coming years to be able to branch out into bringing delegations to Switzerland from Korea and setting up events for them so that the partnering can be a part of our bilateral exchange within these calls to help the right people meet each other, to help consortia build projects. We wish you all the very, very best for this year. We just hope you all keep safe and well, and we wish you a really good Eureka Day. Thank you for your attention.
The next presentation is by Enterprise Singapore.
Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining this session. I'd like to start off by really thanking Korea for inviting Singapore and giving Singapore this opportunity and this platform to introduce ourselves to the Eureka network. This is really the first time that we are able to formally address interested companies and agencies from the 47 countries about Enterprise Singapore, as well as our plans for engaging and participating in the Eureka network. So that will be the focus of my presentation. I'll do a really concise summary of what Enterprise Singapore is about, what we do, about Singapore's innovation landscape, and then I'll focus a little bit more on our growing relationship with Eureka that has been growing from strength to strength from 2018 to 2019 to 2020, and what we'll do here on out. So yeah, I'm glad to make this a concise and straightforward presentation, and hopefully out of this you will get a better understanding of what Enterprise Singapore does and how you can work with Singapore companies on innovation projects in the coming years. So let me begin by introducing Enterprise Singapore. So Enterprise Singapore is a government agency under the Ministry of Trade and Industry Singapore, and we work hand in hand with a number of other agencies, but the real mandate of Enterprise Singapore is to grow Singapore enterprises. So everything about helping Singapore companies grow and develop both internally as an organization, as well as accessing new opportunities externally, we play a role in that, and we try to create new tools and programs to be able to support our companies. So in order to access new opportunities, we have also cultivated and created a global network whereby we are present in a number of different countries. As you can see, currently it's heavily centered on Asia for obvious reasons, but with time to come, we do look towards expanding more globally and Europe is an area that's particularly interesting for us, especially by participating in the Eureka network, because it gives us the opportunity to connect high potential Singapore companies with companies from all these different countries for win-win cooperation to engage in the development of new products and solutions that could be very interesting for the global market. So so this is just a real snapshot, a quick snapshot of where we are currently present and how from Singapore we are looking to go into the different parts of the world. So how we Enterprise Singapore works to grow Singapore enterprises, we focus on three key strategic thrusts, which is to raise productivity, to strengthen innovation, and to accelerate internationalization. Really, it's the whole spectrum of a company's activities that we look to help support and develop. By raising productivity is to ensure that the company is operating as efficiently and effectively as possible. Strengthening innovation will be a very interesting and important way for the company to access new growth areas and new growth opportunities, and accelerating internationalization will be a good opportunity for Singapore companies to really go out there to see what kind of opportunities there are overseas that they can then work on and join hand in hand with overseas companies to really help create new products and solutions, as well as to be able to increase their presence and opportunity space abroad as well. And to do so, we have 4 key strategies. As I mentioned, is to build enterprise capabilities, develop human capital, strengthen the enterprise ecosystem, and to establish strong networks and partnerships like we are doing now with growing Singapore's connection with Korea, as well as the wider Eureka network. So I would like to also do a very quick snapshot and a very quick introduction to Singapore's vibrant innovation landscape. As you can see from this slide, there's been a large growth in the number of startups that we have in Singapore, a lot of tech activity, and very interesting developments in the venture funding. As you can see, it's gone from 1 billion in 2012 to 10.5 billion in 2018, which shows that the startup scene and the innovation scene in Singapore is really a vibrant place to be. And there are also a number of success stories like the Singapore-based unicorns like Sea, Lazada, Razer, and Grab. So clearly in Singapore, there's a lot of interesting initiatives that we're doing to cultivate an innovation mindset and the innovation landscape. And one of the activities that we want to do by connecting with Eureka is to be able to connect our innovation ecosystem to other innovation ecosystems, because there can only be opportunities to be gained for both sides by collaborating rather than looking at working in silos and working completely independently from one another. This slide just goes to show the depth of our innovation ecosystem and how there are a number of incubators, accelerators, investors, and also high quality institute of higher learnings and research institutes that are present within Singapore. And yeah, so before I transition into Singapore's relationship with Eureka, the last slide is just to emphasize on why it's so important for Singapore to go global. And this is why we're committed to putting in the resources to really help support the development of new co-innovation opportunities for Singapore companies hand in hand with overseas companies like companies from the Eureka network to develop new products and solutions. For us, it's because size matters. Singapore is a small country, and that will limit the growth potential of our companies. And from engaging in globalization, it will also help to strengthen the competitiveness of our companies. And when these companies also are present in different markets, it creates good quality jobs that will be of interest to our population as well. As such, we think as a result, it would be very interesting for us to be able to engage more deeply with Eureka so that these new opportunities can be created. And this is why we've been so active in pursuing cooperation with Eureka, as I'm going to talk about in the next slide. So yeah, this is actually the main focus of my presentation. Now that you have a basic understanding of what Enterprise Singapore is and what we do and how the innovation landscape is in Singapore, now it's talking about how we see opportunities in Eureka being mutually beneficial for both Singapore as well as the participating countries in the Eureka network. So this all started with our pilot cooperation, which I think started off after discussions with Netherlands and the UK, which were the two previous Eureka chairs. They invited us to do a Global Star Singapore call, which we piloted in 2019. We had no idea how it was going to turn out, and we are also very new to this co-innovation call opportunities. So we decided, okay, let's do a pilot. Let's see how much interest there is, and let's take it from there. And we were pleasantly surprised. After we ran the first call, we had 36 applications, and out of which 17 of the proposals were funded, which made it the largest and most successful Eureka Global Stars call in terms of the number of successful projects. And from that being our first try, and from us being very new to the Eureka network, it was something that we realized, okay, there's going to be more potential here that we can pursue, and we should actually strengthen and deepen our cooperation. So after our first call in 2019, we decided, okay, let's go all in. Let's really see all the opportunities that we can find for mutually beneficial collaboration and partnerships with Eureka and our companies. So since then, in 2020, it's been a very, very hectic year, but in a good way as well. Even though with all the COVID disruptions, it's been harder to travel, it's forced us to look at how we can connect our companies overseas, despite the various physical and travel limitations. And as a result, we really were active in participating in calls, as well as having discussions with our Eureka counterparts on seeing how we can work more closely together. I'll spend some time on this slide. The first thing we did was the main thing that we did was to launch the second Eureka Global Star Singapore call, following the very successful first call. The first call we ran with 7 countries, and this time we thought, okay, let's test it even further. And we launched it together with 14 countries, which was an interesting exercise in coordination, but it went really, really well. It closed on 15th of October, and we generated 87 applications, which is by far the largest Global Stars call ever in terms of the number of applications, which again goes to show the potential for Singapore to cooperate with overseas companies on co-innovation projects. And that's really something I want to stress. There is a lot of interest from our companies, and we will find more of these call opportunities to get our companies to partner with companies in Korea, as well as the rest of the Eureka network in the coming years to engage in mutually beneficial co-innovation projects. The second thing we did was to also pilot our cooperation with the Eureka clusters, and we participated in the Intercluster Eureka AI call. Since we are not yet a Eureka member, we had to participate as a third country, which meant that Singapore companies had to partner with at least 2 Eureka countries to be able to call it a Eureka clusters project. And despite this limitation of sorts, since we needed 2 other partners, it means all projects needed to be at least a trilateral project. We still generated 2 good quality funded multilateral co-innovation projects, one of which had 11 partners from 4 countries. So these big, large-scale international co-innovation projects are still somewhat new to us, but it's very interesting to see our companies being very active in engaging overseas companies and participating in this project consortiums. The third thing that we did was to also work together with the Eureka Invest Horizon to organize 2 missions. We're organizing 1 mission later this year in December as a virtual mission to invite 100 Eureka, high potential Eureka startups to Singapore, to the Singapore Week of Innovation and Technology, and subsequently in 2021 to have a physical mission where the interested startups from the Invest Horizon program can come down to Singapore and learn more about the Singapore and Asian innovation ecosystem. So that's the third thing that we are looking to do, to see how we can partner with all the different programs that Eureka offers. And it's been very interesting to have these conversations and to really pilot all these new forms of corporations to give more opportunities, not only to our startups, but also to startups and companies, but also to startup and companies from the 47 Eureka countries to learn and understand about the Singapore ecosystem a little bit better. The final thing that we are doing, and the most important one, is to formally submit our application to join Eureka as an associate country. So I think from all our cooperation so far, it's been largely very positive. We've had a very good working relationship with the other Eureka countries, really good working relationship with Korea, through which we've already done the Global Stars call and also I think the AI call. So it does go to show that there is a lot of potential there that we need to still develop, and we are only at the very foundation of our relationship. So we formally submitted our application, and hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll be able to join Eureka in 2021. And that, I think, is the main message of my presentation. I want you to learn more about Enterprise Singapore, about the Singapore innovation ecosystem, and about our interest to join the Eureka network. So in subsequent years, you're going to see Singapore hopefully participating in Eurostars and the Eureka clusters, as well as in the various Eureka network project calls. So if you are already speaking to Singapore companies about potentially working together with them on a project, you can keep at the back of your mind the fact that all these opportunities and all these funding opportunities will come up in years to come. So that will be very exciting for us, and hopefully for everyone else listening in today as well. So if you're partnering with a Singapore company, I think it would be good to also understand the application journey that Singapore companies go through, so that you're able to better prepare yourself for a high quality project proposal that stands a better chance of getting funded. So there are 3 steps to this process. The first is always to find the right partner, and to do so, when we engage with Singapore companies after we launch a call, we get them to fill out a declaration of interest form, whereby they tell us what they're interested in and where they're at in their project, or rather what they're looking for in a partner. Then after that, we take that information, we send it to our government network of the various funding agencies, we send it to our trade associations, we send it to our chambers of commerce, so that anyone that is relevant in that space will understand that there's a company that's interested in collaborating, and hopefully that will generate a suitable partnership. Other than that, we'll also we normally create a dedicated virtual marketplace whereby Singapore companies and interested companies from the Eureka countries can come together virtually and list their collaboration ideas, and hopefully there's a match. The companies can self-help, link up themselves, have that discussion, and take the discussion forward. Finally, we also have our IPI tech matching platform. IPI Singapore is Enterprise Singapore's subsidiary, and this is a somewhat evergreen marketplace whereby companies can list their tech needs or tech expertise, and then if there's a suitable match, then the companies are matched together to take that discussion forward. So that's step 1, finding the right partner, using all these various avenues that we normally create to help you find the right partner. The step 2 is the preliminary evaluation. So once you have a partner, you have a project, you're discussing that project, we always encourage our companies to come speak to us early so that we can check eligibility for funding, so that the company doesn't waste too much time discussing a project without knowing that they're eligible, whether the company itself is eligible or not. So when we do this eligibility check, we check 3 things. The first is whether the business is registered and present in Singapore. The second is whether the business has more than 30% local equity, held directly or indirectly by Singaporeans or Singaporean PRs. And third, whether the company is financially able to see a project through completion. So when you already engage with your Singapore companies and you're looking to partner with them on a project, please do also check these 3 things, or get them to check these 3 things with us, so that they can be eligible for our funding schemes to support Singapore companies on these co-innovation projects. And once we have that discussion, the last thing is just then to do the formal submission, which will generally be the joint Eureka application as well as the national funding applications. And for Singapore company, the national funding application that they'll need to submit will be the Enterprise Development Grant application that they will submit through the Business Grants portal. And for our funding, it's generally up to 70% of qualifying project costs. So yes, so that's it. I think the last slide is just my email address. So I hope from today's presentation, you would have understood a little bit more about Enterprise Singapore, about our innovation ecosystem, about why we are looking to join the Eureka network, and also our commitment to be an active member of Eureka to collaborate with Korea as well as all the other Eureka member countries. And also hope that you learned a little bit about how Singapore companies normally apply for funding under these programs. So with this, I hope you have a very good background of how Singapore intends to cooperate in the coming years, and hopefully you can already get started on speaking to Singapore companies about co-innovation projects. And if you have any questions at all, this is my email address. Please feel free to reach out to me, and then we can see how we can help you and also engage in more international innovation projects, which is ultimately what we hope to achieve by deepening our partnership and relationship with the Eureka network. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening to me today. Thank you very much to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to introduce Enterprise Singapore and Singapore's interest in the Eureka network. And I hope to hear from all of you very soon and hope to be able to build this bridge more robustly and solidly over the next few years. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day ahead.
We will now conclude the 2020 Korea Eureka Day. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to thank everyone who has joined us today. Thank you so much for your interest and support. We hope that today's forum provided us with the opportunity to strengthen international R&D collaboration between Korea and Europe. Thank you.